나처럼 groovy하게 나처럼 groovy하게.
English K-pop songs have kind of a reputation for being sucky, but is the disdain warranted? Today I present you a list of 40, yes, 40 English K-pop songs to tier rank. This list still does not cover all the English K-pop songs out there. I tried to limit this to the most popular tracks and tracks that I think deserve more recognition. Keep in mind that this ranking is solely based on my opinion. Just because I don't like a song doesn't mean that you can't. My explanation for why I dislike a song isn't meant to berate anyone, it's only to help you understand my perspective. Now, let's get into the tiers. Due to the lack of theory content here lately, I thought it would be fun to tie in the ranks into aespa's lore. So first we have You're in the Flat. These contain songs that are very boring, aged poorly, or are just hard to understand. Not saying that these are objectively bad, I just personally don't like them. Next, we have Kwangya, aka the spot that every SM artist seems to be trapped in these days. These songs are either forgettable or didn't do a good job of comparing to their Korean counterparts in my opinion. Then we have Naevis, We Love You. So Naevis is like the butterfly overlord of the SM universe or something, but she's missing now, I think. These songs just lack a certain something to elevate them to the next level. And finally, we have To Kosmo. I presume Kosmo is to the SM universe what Elysium is to the Greek underworld. These songs are not only perfect in my eyes, but they're songs that I can see faring well in the Western market. Okay, get comfortable, grab a snack, and make sure to let me know your own rankings in the comments. Let's dive right in. So Nobody is absolutely iconic. The fact that this song was released 11 years ago and still holds up pretty well to date is amazing. I think that's the beauty in retro concepts. The past will always be something that's in style. It's a little sad that the rest of Wonder Girls' English singles couldn't really live up to this, and I think the problem with them is that they focused more on following the 2010 trends over sticking to their concept. I'm at least glad that they were able to rekindle their roots after their Western run, because otherwise we would have never gotten bangers like Be My Baby and the entire reboot album. Nobody definitely deserves to be into Kosmo. It proved the potential that K-pop had to be successful in the West, and I still listen to this song to date. I want to preface this by saying the Korean version of the song is beautiful in the most heartbreaking way. I think in terms of song choice, this was a great option to appeal to international fans. It has that smooth R&B sound popular in the West in the late 90s and early 2000s. I think the message of the English lyrics does an adequate job of mirroring the Korean version, but the flow just feels a little unnatural. Certain phrases are just way too bunched up. For example, I keep hearing like Doritos instead of life can lead us. So just looking at the English version, I would put this in You're in the Flat.
Girls, bring the boys out!
I'm not really sure why SM decided to promote The Boys as an English single when Run Devil Run was literally a Kesha demo. While I personally like the song, I can't imagine it becoming popular in the mainstream Western market. I think as far as English versions go, this one's honestly not too bad, even though it's one of the earlier ones. There are a couple awkward lyrics here and there, but it's still fun to sing along to. I'm putting The Boys in Naevis, We Love You. It's not a perfect adaptation, but I still really like it. Up next, we have Lifted by CL. I don't think this is a bad song, but I wish that YG had done something bolder for CL's American debut. I feel like her quote-unquote baddest female persona is perfect for the Western market. I feel like here people are drawn to performers with strong personas like Beyonce and Lady Gaga. But the song just feels a bit too subdued to really make a splash both on the charts and on my personal playlist. I also have no problem with sampling, but it does feel a bit lazy for a debut song. So I'm gonna put this in You're in the Flat. I firmly maintain that Hello Bitches was the better option for international promotions, but what do I know? So I do like both versions of Highway to Heaven, however, I don't like how they completely changed the meaning of the Korean version to make a bigger splash in the Western market. I have nothing against a good Ho anthem, but it's a complete 180 from the innocent beckoning of the Korean version. And on one hand, I get it. The Western market is a lot less sanitized, so to speak, and I mean, I know Twitter goes wild every time NCT releases a song about doing the nasty, but it's almost insulting to release English music that solely perpetuates the sexualized version of them, as if international fans can't appreciate the poetic lyricism of the original. If it was a one-time thing, I wouldn't be so harsh, but we'll see this trend continue on later in the video. So I'm gonna put this in Kwangya. If I was solely looking at this without the Korean version as reference, I would put this in a higher tier, since I do think the lyrics flow pretty well and their delivery is good. However, I just don't think it did a great job at playing to the strengths of the original song. It's not like NCT doesn't have their fair share of scandalous Korean releases, so I don't know why they felt like they needed to modify this song so much. I still remember where I was the day that KCON performance dropped. I remember feeling shook to my core when Yeri started singing in English out of nowhere, and I certainly remember complaining alongside my fellow Revelovs about how this English version would almost certainly be locked in SM's dungeon because international fans can never win. But you know what? Sometimes peer pressure works. Bad Boy is probably my favorite English remake of an existing K-pop song. The songwriters did a fantastic job of capturing the sultry, seductive mood. The lyrics are actually memorable, from Seulgi's "I know how to make the devil cry" to Irene's "I'm making you fall to your knees," feeling like a legitimate attempt to craft a standalone song propelling them to new global heights, instead of just giving Western fans some half-assed scraps to appease them. The song only has one flaw, removing Irene's who that boy, but I'll let it slide since the rest of the song is great. I can't understand why they didn't promote this more, and even more puzzling why they labeled RBB as Red Velvet's English debut, but I digress. Bad Boy definitely gets to go into Cosmo. I definitely wish other remakes were this good. The fact that this was only an SM station release makes me so excited for what Ten will bring to the table when he does eventually go solo. This feels like something that would play at H&M. Ten's glitzy charisma and ethereal presence really elevate otherwise what would be a basic song. I have nothing against simple songs if I think they're executed well. The song's structure does a great job of creating an atmosphere that feels like a phoenix rising from the ashes. And while the lyrics are simple, every element works in harmony to create an absolute banger of an uplifting underdog story. So this is definitely going to go into Cosmo for me. Sweet, talk to me, babe. It's magical. Sweet lullaby. I feel like most people don't know that this version exists, so let me put it on your radar. Lullaby is perfectly okay as far as English K-pop songs go. I think the song flows better in Korean, but it's not a bad adaptation, so it'll go in the Kwangya tier. Don't tell me you don't feel what I feel somehow. I'm not a huge ballad person, which is why I don't listen to this that often, but I cannot for the life of me understand why this wasn't promoted more. I don't think I remember even seeing an Instagram post on Red Velvet's account when this was first released. Wendy's agile saccharine voice perfectly complements John Legend's rich and soulful tone, creating a collab that's full of passion, emotion, and wistfulness. I'm putting this in the Naevis We Love You category. I really don't understand why SM wouldn't pounce at the opportunity to further promote a collab with an EGOT winner. I'm still mad that Key's debut album never got the reception it deserved. Face did such a great job of allowing Key to experiment with genres while still maintaining his unique flair. And Imagine is one of the best examples of this. The contrast between Key's subdued yet dreamy verses, the pulsating chorus, and that futuristic drop manages to keep every section of the song feeling innovative. Nothing screams Key more than a chic club banger, and he delivers the song with a sense of glamour and energy which I think few could pull off. I'm putting this in to Cosmo, and I highly recommend checking out the rest of Key's solo discography when you get the chance. This is a very polarizing song, and I for one am in the group that doesn't particularly care for it. I'm just not a fan of so-called flex songs in general, but the lyrics to this one are a little bit cringy. I've never heard anyone use the phrase, "I've been walking with the cheese that's the queso" in real life. It's honestly so strange that it makes me laugh every time I hear it. I think the WayV version of the song is the best, despite being the final adaptation. This goes in You're in the Flat. I don't know if I can say that it's so bad it's good, or if it's just plain bad. We do not give this song enough appreciation, so I am here to change that narrative. I Need You is such a fun song. I particularly love those little pow 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 interjections. There are certain phrases which I think sound slightly awkward, but not to the point where it detracts from the energy of the song. The funky chorus is totally the highlight. It's such an earworm. So final verdict, Naevis, we love you. Tiffany's first English EP was kind of a mixed bag of songs in my opinion, which I'm not mad about. It's been interesting to see her explore styles outside of the confines of SM entertainment. Lips on Lips was her first release, which really made me go, yes, I love this song. The song feels so warm and romantic, a perfect match for Tiffany's sultry vocals. While the sets are simple, I love the color palette. Pink has practically become synonymous with Tiffany at this point. I'm going to put this in Naevis, we love you. I'll definitely be waiting for Tiffany to release new music since I'm sure it'll be great. When I first heard Monsta X was releasing an English album, I thought it was kind of an odd choice since they've never been at the very top of the K-pop game, but in hindsight it makes sense. I think their group image suits the Western market pretty well, and they're able to bring a sense of sophisticated suaveness to this song, which few boy groups could honestly pull off. Who Do You Love doesn't have great replay value though. While I enjoy those pulsating beats of the chorus, the rest of the song is relatively static, and it doesn't help that the lyrics feel like an amalgamation of every thirsty party song. I also just don't like French Montana's verses. I felt like the song just didn't need a rap verse. I'll put this in Kwangya. I actually liked the song when it came out, but it just didn't age as well as I was hoping for. I don't know what it is about this, but the English version feels very clunky. I'm not too familiar with the Korean lyrics, but I have a feeling this suffers from the opposite problem of NCT songs, in the sense that they went for a translation that was a bit too literal. It might also be that the lyrics felt very cheesy in English, so it's harder for me to take in seriously despite the concept. So I'm gonna put this in You're in the Flat. Sorry, Chan and Felix. I think the song had a lot of potential, but certain choices are bogging it down. I love the hyper melody. It fits nicely with the current quirky teen crush trend. I also definitely appreciate a good girl power anthem. The part where they chant G-I-R-L-S is so addicting. However, some of the lyrics just sound a little awkward. Like, any song that references swag gets an automatic eye roll from me, no matter how much I love the artist. I'll put this in Kwangya, but I'm so starved of Bvndit content that I might just play this enough for it to grow on me.
There's 100 ways to leave a love, leave a love, leave a love.
Jackson's solo evolution has been really interesting to witness. I remember listening to one of his earliest singles and I couldn't even bring myself to listen to the whole thing because I felt like he was screaming at me the entire time. But he's done a great job of figuring out his strengths as a vocalist and finding a production style that works for him. 100 Ways is the epitome of this. Jackson's raspy voice, paired with those echoey inflections in the instrumental track, produces a song that goes hard without feeling overwhelming. I love how the choreography not only makes fantastic use of the song's rhythm, but also ties into the video's storyline. Every element of the song works in tandem to create a multicultural masterpiece. A K-pop rapper singing in English while incorporating Chinese elements into his music video. This is going into Cosmo. It is just a great dance track. The song manages to couple melancholy and longing while never surrendering the high-octane energy of the song. The verses are majestic and haunting with sentimental professions of desire, only to be cut short by the electrifying drop, as if it's an interjection meant to numb the pain of heartbreak. I'm going to put this in Naevis We Love You. It did take me an embarrassingly long time for me to realize that this was all in English, and I think it's because the lyrics sort of take a backseat to the remainder of the song composition. This ranking might again be a little controversial. I enjoyed Dynamite when it was first released, but I don't think it's aged as well as I was hoping for. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know I'm not a huge fan of HYBE's production style utilizing excessive vocal filtering. It makes the vocals feel almost robotic, which is a disservice because the members aren't bad singers. I do, however, think that the energy that BTS brings to this track helps to compensate for this. The song feels like listening to Sunshine, and it's nice to see them having fun with the concept. I'm gonna put this in Kwangya. It probably would be one tier higher if they didn't use so much auto-tune. Here we have yet another instance where I don't understand SM's logic. SuperM was literally made to be a cash grab for the Western market, yet they decided to give their one English song zero promotion. Big chance teeters on the line separating timid apprehension and youthful recklessness. The song is an uplifting call to action to seize the day now and worry about the consequences later. The chorus is particularly endearing, carrying the same kind of energy as a promposal or date montage in a teen movie. I'll put this in Naevis We Love You. It's a really sweet song that always makes me smile, and it totally deserves more praise.
Shine a light all through the night. Close to me, you are all of me.
This is just such a perfect song for the fall. I really wished Loona would return to their dreamy, ethereal sound for their title tracks. My favorite parts of the song include Heejin's opening section. Her voice is just so captivating. Plus, the echoey, wistful pre-chorus sounds absolutely magical. It's not as flamboyant as some of the other songs on this tier, but it deserves a spot into Cosmo. I remember my jaw dropping right from the opening verse when I listened to this song for the first time. Dream of You is a perfect blend between sexy and classy, with a captivating hook that keeps you coming back for more. Chungha's velvety vocals are laced with effortless confidence, providing a nice contrast to the plucky beats of the song. The song goes into Kosmo. I believe she has a deal with 88 Rising, so I'm very excited to see what English music she releases next. I already also really loved Flying on Faith from her latest album. I think if anyone's able to crack through the Western market, it's her.
Loving the way you wanna talk. Touch me, tease me, fill me up.
I have a similar critique from Highway to Heaven, but to a lesser extent. The Chinese translation seems like a confession scene from an epic romance drama, while the lyrics of the English version feel like something a guy would say trying to flirt at a frat party. At least both songs have a similar vibe, it's just that I think the Chinese version sounds more debonair. I will say though, since I don't understand Mandarin, or Korean for that matter, I'm curious as to whether people who are fluent would raise a similar issue. The translated versions of these songs seem a lot more elegant, but I wonder how much of that is attributed to the language itself versus the songwriting, if that makes sense. Anyways, I'm putting this in Kwangya just because I mostly listen to the Chinese version.
Ice cream, chillin', chillin', ice cream, chillin'. Ice cream, chillin', chillin', ice cream, chillin'.
So I know this technically has 3 or 4 lines in Korean, but I'll include it since I tend to block that verse out anyways. Ice cream is the antithesis of what I like in a song. The childish aesthetic and teasing paired with the extremely sexual lyrics feels kind of creepy to me. I'm not expecting K-pop lyricism to rival Shakespeare or anything, but I'm certain they could have done better than snow cone chili, get it free like Willy, especially considering the roster of people who actually worked on the song. The song structure is very flat, and the verses start to feel redundant after a few listens. So I'm putting this in You're in the Flat. I was really looking forward to another bright concept since I love As If It's Your Last, but the song was just really boring to me. Moderately creepy animation aside, this English version was not as bad as I thought it would be. I still prefer the Korean version, but I definitely sing along to this if it came up on shuffle. I think the Korean version is a bit catchier. For example, Ryujin's part right before the chorus is my favorite part in the Korean version, but it's not as impactful in the English one. However, the lyrics are more than sufficient in portraying the song's original theme, and the pronunciation is really good. I'm putting this in Kwangya because I don't really listen to it, but I still enjoy it.
This ain't about you. This ain't about you.
I feel like I should like the song, but there's just something holding me back. I really like the instrumental track. I think this groovy, sultry style suits Wonho well, and I like the continuity in his sound from Lose. I also really like Kiiara's verse. I think she was the perfect choice for this collaboration. I just don't really feel like going out of my way to play it though. I don't know why, but it's just not very memorable to me. This will go in Kwangya. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just don't like it enough to rank it higher.
Everything I need is on the ground.
The song was going so strong until the chorus. I actually really love the lyrics. I may not be a member of the biggest girl group in the world, but I can relate to her jaded perspective of success. Her voice sounds amazing on the song. You can really feel the fatigue and disillusionment in the verses building up to this light bulb moment where her priorities finally click. But her warm, emotional outpouring is suddenly hampered by this out-of-place drop which just throws off the song's entire flow. I'm putting this in Kwangya. If the chorus was different, it would have moved up a tier for sure.
Lend me your hand, girl, come and save me. 'Cause I'm falling down, down, all the way down now.
The song just gives me a serotonin boost whenever I listen to it. Down feels like a song I could genuinely see becoming popular in the West. The twinkling melody paired with those addictive beats makes for a great, relaxing pop song. Since the song feels like something that would be in the background of one of those TikTok challenges, I thought it was adorable how they incorporated social media into the music video. Since the melody is more minimalistic, it really gives their voices a chance to shine. This is going into Kosmo. I'm begging someone to make this go viral so that A.C.E can finally get the recognition they deserve.
Don't need a party to feel high. We're like the modern version, Bonnie and Clyde.
K-pop's obsession with blinding lights continues to go strong, which I honestly have no complaints about. Yuqi's deep, rich tone perfectly conveys the hunger and tension of this track. The whole song has this cinematic feel to it. The resonant yet subdued verses do such a great job of establishing the atmosphere, which makes the chorus feel all the more electrifying. I'm convinced I'll enjoy any song called Bonnie and Clyde at this point. Looking at you, Dean, please come back soon. This goes in Naevis We Love You. I don't think I've listened to it enough to make it go into the top tier, but objectively it is a fantastic song. This may come as a shocker considering the aforementioned Dynamite review and the impending Permission to Dance review, but I actually think Butter is one of the best English K-pop songs out there. The song is made using a recipe using all the best ingredients, from the sizzling synths to the honey-like vocals. The icy verses are crisp yet alluring, while the chocolatey chorus basks in warmth and energy. This definitely deserves a spot into Kosmo. It's nothing revolutionary, but it has all the makings of a new classic.
It's just like magic. Touch, always a rush, no one else has it.
Logically, I know this probably didn't happen since it only came out 2 weeks later, but whenever I hear Magic, I can't help but think that HYBE needed a quick filler for their album and just stuck TXT with a knockoff version of Butter, hoping no one would notice. I would have liked the song more if it had felt more original, though I still find the auto-tune in the chorus to be quite grating. I'm putting this in Kwangya. TXT's delivery is very endearing, so I'll give them points for that, and I'll confess I liked the song at first. It just grew stale upon replay. I can see why fans might enjoy Permission to Dance. It's a cute song and the members seem like they're having a good time, but there's nothing about it that captivates my attention. At this point, I honestly think BTS's English singles are more of a cash grab than anything else, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just that few groups are in a position where they have a substantial Western audience who will push for radio play and award season recognition. It feels like a waste to continue to perpetuate the notion that K-pop lacks substance through releases like this, especially considering how much thought and effort is put into crafting BTS's own Korean releases. Not saying that every song has to be deep and meaningful, I just wish BTS would demonstrate even a fraction of the versatility that they show through their own Korean releases. Permission to Dance is going in You're in the Flat for me.
Feels like I'm lost at sea on the bottom of the ocean, down on one knee.
I've seen a lot of people comparing this to something One Direction would release, and I totally agree. It would fit right in with their Up All Night album. Sonically, I love this. It makes me feel so nostalgic since I used to be a huge Directioner. It really does surprise me just how fast the night changes. I do find some of the lyrics quite laughable though. I'm side-eyeing whoever decided to include the line about showing what her mama gave. I'm gonna put this in Naevis We Love You. I'm curious to see if Willem will actually give them promotions in the West. Yeah, I'll admit, Lisa lost me at dollars dropping on my ass tonight. The brass is kinda catchy, but the song just really is not my taste. Lisa is a very charismatic performer though, the choreography looks great. This is going in You're in the Flat. It feels like YG just decided to give Lisa the most stereotypical rap song they could find. And while I don't think every song needs to be meaningful, again, I was just hoping for something a little bit more personal. Do I think the feels is going to make a splash in the Western market? Probably not, but let's just imagine that I'm the only consumer of music in America for a second. The feels is so addicting to listen to. I mean, I can't not dance along when that groovy bass line is playing. The hooks are fantastic. Nayeon and Jiho's soaring vocals combined with the flirty chanting about catching the feels has carved out what I believe is a permanent spot in my brain. This is such a Twice song. It's probably a bit too sweet for the average Western consumer, but what can I say? I personally have a massive sweet tooth. It's going into Cosmo for me. I'm glad JYP learned from their mistakes and didn't sacrifice Twice's sound to chase Western validation.
You got that kiss of fire, the way you put your lips on me.
I don't think you all understand. This comeback has made me fall in love with Woodz. He can sing, he can dance, he can rap, and he can compose. Kiss of Fire is delectably sensuous. Woods' voice sounds smooth like butter. Wait, I should have used that for the BTS section. He does a fantastic job conveying the song's moody yet impassioned atmosphere, and I love how each section sonically mirrors the internal conflict he's experiencing. I'm not sure if he's signed to a Western label, so if he's not, 88 Rising, you better act fast. This is going into Cosmo. If I had heard this on the radio, I honestly wouldn't have guessed that this was by a K-pop artist. The song is as close to perfect as an English K-pop release can get.
All I know is I don't know you anymore.
I've always felt like Eric Nam's music could genuinely do well in the Western market. His style feels like a blend between Shawn Mendes and Conan Gray. I believe this is meant to be the first release in a new English album. He's described this new work as sort of a reinvention, plus I don't think he's under a K-pop label anymore. This release already feels very personal. Eric Nam has always been great at making radio-friendly pop music, so I hope he doesn't stray away from that, but I'd love to see him tackle new material through his lyrics. I'll put this in Naevis, We Love You. It's a pretty standard breakup song, but it's catchy and it's sincere, which is more than enough for me. Oh, also, side note, I think it's very cool that he decided to film the music video in his home state. I actually used to live in Georgia as well, and I visited the town where the music video was filmed years ago, so that was a little cute Easter egg for me.
2 minus 1, I can't see you're doing really good without me, baby.
The song feels like it would be part of a late 90s or early 2000s teen movie. Like, I can clearly picture this in 10 Things I Hate About You. It was really cool to see Joshua and Vernon going for a more angsty pop-punk inspired sound for this release. It's a genre that is very much underrepresented in K-pop. I think the pre-chorus sounds a little awkward, but the rest of the song is pretty cohesive. This is going in Naevis, We Love You, but since it's a newer release, that ranking is subject to change. I've been loving the recent influx of spooky K-pop songs. Bewitched is such a strong B-side, and I'm really happy that it ended up getting its own video. The lyrics, according to the description under the video, are meant to show a witch seducing a group of fairies, which is interesting. I'm not too familiar with their lore. The song itself feels like something that would play if a group of vampires decided to put on a runway show. The chorus in particular features a very stylish, polished sound, while the murky, chilling atmosphere continues to bubble under the surface. I'm gonna put this in Naevis, We Love You. Not sure if I prefer this over the Korean version, but it has room to grow on me even more. When I first heard the song, I don't know why, but I thought of that scene where Taylor Swift sings at the Hoedown Throwdown in the Hannah Montana movie, except it's a breakup song instead. Anymore definitely evokes feelings of nostalgia. I think it's that folksy chorus that reminds me of music I would listen to in 2010. I'm really happy to see Somi taking greater creative control of her music. The lyrics aren't groundbreaking, but they're heartfelt, which makes it feel a lot more impactful. This is going in Naevis, We Love You. I definitely love to see more English releases from Somi. If you sat through all of my venting, you seriously deserve an award. Overall, I would say I don't think English songs are as bad as people make them out to be. I think you just have to search a little bit for the good ones. To be fair though, I purposely didn't include a lot of English versions of songs because I would put them on the bottom tier for the same reasons. They're just hard to understand. Let me know your favorite English K-pop song in the comment section below. Thank you for watching!